That's right. But, I mean, JJ McCarthy's a first-round quarterback. We know that. I mean, again, he's one of those where you just go, okay, he was in Michigan. It was an unfriendly quarterback offense. It wasn't about throwing the football. But, don't get him messed up like we talk about all the time. You put him on some other college offenses, and it would look a lot different. He can make every throw. He's got the pedigree. He's got, the way that you want a quarterback to be as far as a leader, kind of humble, not looking to be a distraction, any of that. The arm is very strong, right? It's up there with the strongest arms in the draft. In fact, I would say Caleb Williams is the only guy that I would sit here for sure and go, yes, his arm's stronger than JJ McCarthy's.
Ever since the NFL Draft Combine, JJ McCarthy has been one of the most intriguing names in this year's quarterback draft class. Now, over the past few days, things have started to be leaked out in terms of him privately meeting with some teams around the top of the draft. For starters, the Washington Commanders are doing their homework. Now, if you don't know, they sit at number 2 in the NFL draft. Obviously, they think Caleb Williams is out of the picture, which puts them at number 2, deciding between a couple of different guys. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and now, right, JJ McCarthy is now in the mixture to be drafted at number 2. Now, the reason we know that is because the Commanders are doing their due diligence by meeting with them, giving them a private workout, and seeing what the dude has to offer. Now, with that being said, there are plenty of other teams looking forward to working out with JJ McCarthy. The Vikings are intending to have a private workout with him next week or this week coming up, right? As well as the New York Giants. So there's a bunch of teams, and the Vikings specifically are a team who just traded up in the NFL draft and are highly interested in maybe getting a JJ McCarthy, as well as the New York Giants as well, who have been, enamored with what he's done throughout his collegiate career and what he did last season with Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. Now, the Giants look like, in my opinion, probably the most likely destination for JJ McCarthy. I mean, over the past week, I've heard nothing but they want him. They want him, they need him, and it looks like he could be their draft pick. Now, real quickly, before we dive into everything JJ McCarthy has said and the big hint that he's kind of dropped over the past couple of weeks here on which team he kind of wants to play for, before we get into that, do me a big favor. Hit the like button. Let's get this video to more Giants, Commanders, Vikings fans around the world, but also subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's free, doesn't cost anything. I'm going to be covering the draft for the rest of the offseason and free agency, trades, minicamp, training camp, everything you guys need to know about. I got you guys covered. With that being said, let's see where JJ McCarthy wants to be. Now, before we deep dive into what team needs him or what team should go out and get him, I really quickly want to break down this play. I mean, this is a really good throw, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. As I've started to watch more film of JJ McCarthy, I've been more intrigued by what he could be. I think he's pretty raw. Haven't seen him do too much at Michigan in terms of throwing the football because they're very conservative. They ran the football very, very well, but it's a guy that can make a lot of throws, a guy that can be a leader in the locker room. I really do think he could be a solid quarterback. Will he be amazing? I think that is to be seen, right? But look at this throw here. Drops back in the pocket. We're going to see a route over the middle here, but watch how he fits it into a window. Boom, right here, right? You have, a middle linebacker here. You got a DB here. You have to fit it into an insane window, and that's exactly what he does. I mean, this throw is insane. I do want to slow it down quite a bit here just so you guys can really see what happens. So boom, we're going to get the pre-snap motion. Now, when you see that pre-snap motion, you think it's man-to-man coverage, right? Boom, right away we see, okay, this is man-to-man coverage. Now, with that being said, you read this deep safety. If he goes to the left side, you have over the top, right? So boom, that's exactly what he does. Doesn't try to take away this crosser route. So now you have the middle of the field pretty much open, right? But at the same time, this DB is sitting right in a tough spot where you got to fit it right by him. And boom, turns his head. This DB actually just looks at the football. Probably would be an interception, but an unbelievable throw in a tight window. Do you like the risk factor? Do you not like the risk factor? Would you like him to be more, conservative? At the end of the day, I like JJ McCarthy's game. I think he's got some work to do. And if you guys want to see me break down more footage, more film of JJ McCarthy or anyone in this year's draft, let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Let's watch it one more time from this angle. Again, drops back in the pocket. Again, your job is to read this safety. I guarantee you this safety is really wants his play back, because if you just look at the quarterback the entire way here, you have an easy interception. I mean, it's right there, right for the taking. Is that a good throw? Is it a bad throw? I mean, it's right in a tight window. Could have been intercepted, but at the end of the day, it's a touchdown on that one.
JJ, have you had any interactions with the Vikings this week?
Yes, sir.
Formal or informal? How did that go?
Went amazing. Coach O'Connell led the whole thing, and just being able to see him in person, he was a lot taller than I thought, and Coach McCown, and just everything about what they were talking about, everything about what they wanted out of a quarterback is something that aligns with what I want. And just being able to, get on the board with them, have them go through their plays, it was something really special, and I enjoyed it.
Now, in my opinion, JJ McCarthy to the Minnesota Vikings just makes the most sense. When you sit back and look at what they've done this offseason and the roster they currently have around their quarterback, which is Sam Darnold right now, it just makes the most sense to take JJ McCarthy, right? Now, we already heard what he said about the Vikings and when he met Kevin O'Connell, how the whole situation went. But guys, think about it for a second. They trade up in the NFL draft. They now have 11. They also have another first-round pick as well. Could potentially use that to trade up even further. But the real question is, how high do they need to be to get McCarthy? Obviously, with Caleb Williams going in number 1, or favored to go number 1, Jaden Daniels probably going to go maybe number 2, or Drake May could go 2. And then, Drake May could go 2 or 3 as well as with Jaden Daniels, right? So, the thing with JJ McCarthy, does he go 5? Does he go 11? Do you need to trade up to 4 to get him? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the Minnesota Vikings. But at the end of the day, when you look at the Vikings last season, they weren't very good because of Kirk Cousins being injured. But they have all the talent in the world that a quarterback would need to succeed. Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the NFL. Jordan Addison, one of the most electric rookie wide receivers from last season. TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends, versatile tight ends in the NFL. And then you have a guy in Aaron Jones who is making his way to the Vikings as well as a running back over from the Packers. Guys, this offense is everything you need for a rookie quarterback. You've got the weapons. You got, the offensive line, which isn't too bad, right? They weren't amazing last year, did rank 20th in terms of sack percentage. Obviously want to get that up. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't even expect JJ McCarthy to come in here and be a day one starter. They also have guys who are developing like Christian Darrisaw and also Ed Ingram along the offensive line as well. Need them to get a little better as time goes on, but they're probably going to draft some offensive linemen in this year's draft as well. But in my opinion, JJ McCarthy to the Vikings just makes the most sense. However, what do you guys think in the comment section down below? Do you think they can go up and get him, or do you think this is more of a dream scenario rather than reality, right? Because in the NFL, there is such a thing as, you in certain spots, you're just not going to be able to move up. However, they traded, they have more assets. Will they do it? Do they value JJ McCarthy that high? I guess we'll find out soon. But the Vikings aren't the only team that want JJ McCarthy.
I really loved how, I drew up a play that, I could run against or run in every situation. 3rd down, 4th down, 1st and 2nd, all that good stuff. And then, the coaches were kind of changing my verbiage and making it their own. It was really nice to kind of get a feel of, what that offense would be like. And it was actually a lot more simple. So it was good.
Now, the New York Giants are probably the most interesting team for JJ McCarthy, right? I would say it's weird, but it's also, intriguing to me, right? Last season, Daniel Jones was injured, didn't play too much. When he didn't look amazing. They ranked number 30 in points per game. Their offense couldn't move the ball to save their life. They lost Saquon Barkley. They ranked number 29 in yards per pass, number 32 in sack percentage. So obviously, they're probably going to give Daniel Jones one more shot. They signed him to a major extension. You can't just give up on him like that. They also drafted Jalen Hyatt. You have Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, right? They have so many of these wide receivers that they actually signed or actually drafted, right, pretty high. And, they're just waiting. They're just waiting to really become a really good football team. And you need a quarterback. They also brought in a left guard in Aaron Stinney, a really good pass blocker in Joe Runyon, a decent right tackle in Jermaine Illuminor. They signed a running back in Devin Singletary, backup quarterback in Drew Lock, right? But they need a quarterback. Daniel Jones, I don't think is that guy. And I'm sorry to say it, Giants fans. Maybe I'm wrong. He showed a little bit of a glimpse of what he could be a couple years ago, but since then he's can't stay healthy or just not producing at a high level, and that's just been facts. They do trade for Brian Burns and add Jalen Mills in free agency. Their defense will be fine, right? But the offense is what matters the most. Now, do you trust getting a guy like JJ McCarthy to be your number one? And at the same time, even if you draft JJ McCarthy, he won't be your day one starter. You're going to see what Daniel Jones has for the first 6 to 8 weeks. If he plays bad, you'll probably move on to JJ. If not, then maybe you keep Daniel Jones long term and then, develop kind of what the Green Bay Packers did with JJ McCarthy. As Daniel Jones gets older, you start to develop JJ McCarthy and allow him to take over in a couple of years. And we saw, well, that worked for, a guy like Jordan Love, right? However, Daniel Jones is not an Aaron Rodgers. So, I don't know. It's very, very, very interesting. And the only thing that makes me consider them not going a quarterback here is because they signed Daniel Jones to such a big extension. But the fact that they are out here meeting with him, they want him, we've heard rumors that they are so intrigued of getting him, makes me think that they are going to get him. Now, I like JJ McCarthy. I think he could be a good player. I think he's kind of raw. I think he has some developing to do. I think he's got some time to sit back and learn behind of an offense, right? But at the end of the day, do you go and make that move when you pay Daniel Jones that much money? I mean, it's a big decision. Let me know what you guys think they're going to do. But yeah, the Giants are clearly interested here. Will they do it? Yes or no? Let me know.
So, if JJ McCarthy's third overall, as Louis Riddick just said, because I'm hearing the same thing.
Oh, word?
Is that JJ McCarthy's tape is obviously the same. Nothing's changed other than the fact that they've gotten to meet him and know him and seeing how he plays within structure. Did you hear how Lewis also said that about Jaden Daniels, plays within structure, which is the same thing as that he said about Russell, that you need Russell Wilson to play within structure. Hit the back foot, see it, throw it. Hit the back foot, know you can't throw it there, look at two, throw it there.
And then we need to look at the Washington Commanders. Now, we heard a lot of these people, NFL media, talk about JJ McCarthy slipping into one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this draft. Now, the Commanders probably sit in the second best spot, obviously behind the Bears at number 1, because they're going to just take Caleb Williams. But if you talk about outside the Bears, the Commanders are in the best spot. They have their pick. They can take whoever they want at quarterback. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, it don't matter. They can take, quite frankly, whoever they want. Whoever they deem to be that second best quarterback, who I think it is Jaden Daniels. However, I wouldn't be against JJ McCarthy if they were to trade back. I wouldn't be against them, taking Drake May. But there are so many rumors filing around. Who are they going to take? And that is the big question. I don't know. But the one thing we do know for sure is they will take a quarterback, right? We look at what they've done this offseason. They've added like 8-9 new starters to their team. They added Marcus Mariota. In my opinion, the Commanders in the Mariota fit, it seems to me like it's either JJ McCarthy or it's Jaden Daniels. And I don't think Drake May is really in the discussion, but I could be completely wrong. A lot of people think it's Drake May. That's just my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really care. But Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, and Cliff Kingsbury have a decision to make, right? Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy. If you do want JJ McCarthy, I think you trade down a couple of picks, man. I think you trade back with the Chargers so they can get Marvin Harrison, and I think you take JJ if you want JJ, right? If you want Jaden Daniels, you take him at 2. I think that's how it should be. Let me know what you guys think down below. We have heard that they're interested. They do want a quarterback. Obviously, they need a quarterback. Who will the Washington Commanders quarterback be? He didn't really speak too much on meeting with them during the draft combine, but at the end of the day, I think if they're setting up a private meeting, that just goes to show they're not only doing their due diligence, but actually are interested in bringing him in at number 2. The NFL draft is a little over a month away, and teams are really starting to lock in on the draft, right? They're trying to get out of free agency and lock in on what draft prospects they really have at the top of their draft board. JJ McCarthy is one of the most interesting prospects in a long time. I feel like it could go either way. He could be a really good player. He's got all the size, the tools, the arm strength, the leadership to be a really good quarterback. But can he develop into that guy? Maybe, yes, I think he can. but who will take him? And I think that is a big deciding factor, right? There's some teams in the NFL that just don't do a good job of drafting quarterbacks. Where will JJ McCarthy land? And will it be the change of the franchise? Will he take over? Will he be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL? Man, I think there's a big question mark going around, man. Commanders could do it at 2. I don't think so, but they could. Giants, I think, are in a really big spot, a really good spot to take him. And then you have the Vikings who have the trade-up bait. If they do want JJ, they could go get him. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. I think one of these 3 teams are going to lock in on JJ McCarthy. And we're going to see very soon which team really, really, really thinks he's the guy.